everyone. Welcome back to India Business Insights. Today, we will talk about India's leading theatre chain company PVR. We will look at its evolution, the industry it is working in, and so on. So please stay tuned to find out more. Before we look at PVR's emergence as the largest cinema exhibitor in the country and its exciting history, I wish to remind you to like and share this video and consider subscribing to our channel. India is the world's largest film producer, the world's largest film market in terms of ticket sales, and the fifth largest box office market in terms of revenue in 2020. The industry's growth accelerated after 2021 and it is predicted to rank third by 2026. In terms of absolute increase in industry turnover, India is predicted to rank second in the Asia Pacific region. India is also one of the biggest producers of cinema in the world, with between 1800 to 2000 films in various languages produced as per the censor board data. Even with such an abundance of content, the number of screens in India remains low. Even today, the number of screens remains under 10,000, which includes about 3,200 multiplexes and 6,500 single-screen cinemas. The total numbers have remained constant. Though single-screen cinemas have declined rapidly, this has been compensated by the increase in multiplexes. In contrast, China is estimated to have over 52,000 screens with a marginally higher average capacity of 296 as against about 285 seats in India. The first public projection of cinema to a paying audience happened in December 1895. Surprisingly, India was one of the first countries with its first public projection within a few months at Watson Hotel in Mumbai in July 1896. Since then, the cinema exhibition technology has evolved a lot. But though there have been many cinemas in India for decades, for various reasons, India was slow to adopt many of these evolutions. PVR Limited runs 855 screens in 174 locations. Through its formats and the purchase and integration of SPI Cinemas Escape, Satyam and Palazzo, the firm provides a diversified movie watching experience. Very recently, the shareholders of PVR and Inox have approved a merger scheme in March 2022. With this merger, the combined entity will control over 1500 screens. PVR started with the family-owned Priya Cinema in the upscale neighborhood of Vasant Vihar in New Delhi. Ajay Bijli's father bought the cinema in 1978 and Ajay Bijli took over the management of the cinema in 1988. It was revamped and opened again for the public in 1990. Priya Village Roadshow Limited was established on April 26, 1995. The business established PVR Anupam in Saket, New Delhi in June 1997 and computerized box office operations by selling digital tickets. PVR Priya launched in Vasant Vihar, New Delhi in January 2000. In April 2001, the business established a 4-screen multiplex cinema PVR Narayana in New Delhi and in November 2002, it launched a 3-screen multiplex cinema PVR Vikaspuri. In 2002, Village Roadshow Limited sold their whole stake to Priya Exhibitors Private Limited. On June 28, 2002, Priya Village Roadshow Limited changed its name to PVR Limited. In March 2003, ICICI Venture Funds Management Company Limited, India Advantage Fund I, purchased 38.45% of VIPL's equity shares for Rs 380 million. This was the period when a large number of new malls were set up all over the country, particularly in the larger cities. Most malls needed one or two anchor tenants who could pull in crowds. They were given a part of the mall at very cheap rent. With the high footfalls coming from the cinema, the malls could charge higher rentals from the retail shopping areas. This leasing model allowed the company and other cinema operators to expand rapidly as they did not require capital for real estate. In the initial period, some of these cinemas found it difficult to receive loans for setting up the seating and equipment for cinemas. Most PSU banks needed real estate collateral for giving loans. This was also the period when ICICI became a bank and some of the new age banks started coming up. They were willing to make loans for setting up cinemas and leased properties. The firm established a 7-screen PVR cinema in Gurgaon, Haryana in May 2003. PVR Bangalore, India's biggest multiplex cinema, established in 2004 at the Forum Mall in Koramangala, Bangalore. In May 2004, the business opened PVR Plaza, a single-screen cinema with a vintage atmosphere in Connaught Place, New Delhi. And in November 2004, they opened PVR SRS, a 3-screen multiplex in SRS Mall, Faridabad, Haryana, on the management fees franchisee model. In January 2006, the company's shares were listed in NSE and BSE. Thereafter, the company continued to expand both organically by converting old cinemas and by establishing screens in newly opened malls. They also purchased the whole equity of Sunrise Infotainment Private Limited, converting it to a subsidiary. During the year, the company introduced PVR Talkies to fulfill the needs of moviegoers in Class B and C cities at a lower cost. PVR Talkies started in Aurangabad. PVR Food Union, the company's first food court, debuted in Haryana at Sahara Mall, Gurgaon. In 2007-8, the company added 4 additional multiplexes totaling 16 screens. PVR Pictures started producing or co-producing Hindi films and distributing Indian and foreign films. PVR Pictures' initial co-productions were Tare Zameen Par and Jaane Tu Ya Jaane Na. The first PVR Premier Theatre opened in Delhi's Select City Walk Mall. The firm signed an agreement with Gyan Enterprises Private Limited to create Light Bite Foods Private Limited, a joint venture to manage food courts, restaurants, pubs, coffee shops, and so on. PVR Blue O Entertainment Limited was established in March 2008 as a subsidiary in a joint venture with major Cineplex Group to build up and operate bowling lanes, karaoke centers, and ice skating rinks throughout India. The company and its subsidiaries opened Ambience Mall Chandigarh, Phoenix Malls Limited Mumbai, and Oberoi Malls Mumbai in 2008-9. In 2008, both Sunrise Entertainment Private Limited and CR Retail Malls India Private Limited established multiplexes in Mumbai. On March 12, 2009, PVR Duo opened India's biggest 24-lane bowling center at Ambience Mall in Gurgaon. On April 1, 2008, the firm filed a merger plan with Sunrise Entertainment Private Limited, which was approved by the Delhi High Court on August 4, 2009. The firm established 28 screens in Raipur, Allahabad, Ghaziabad, Chennai, and Ahmedabad in 2009-10, and 19 screens in Chennai, Ahmedabad, and Lucknow in 2010-11. In 2013-14, Cinemax India Limited, its 5 fully owned subsidiaries, and PVR Limited's Cine Hospitality Private Limited adopted a composite merger strategy. In 2014-15, the firm established 9 new locations with 50 screens and reached a total of 474 screens in 106 buildings throughout 43 cities. PVR came into formal agreements on June 9, 2015 to buy DLF Utilities Limited's film exhibition company DT Cinemas for Rs 500 crores. DT Cinemas had 29 screens with a total capacity of 6,000 seats spread over 8 buildings across NCR and Chandigarh. On March 25, 2015, the company executed a shareholders agreement for the acquisition of 70% of equity share of Zia Maze Private Limited, which operated the Delhi-based popcorn chain 4700 BC Popcorn for approximately Rs 5 crores in order to service gourmet popcorn to approximately 35 PVR cinemas and later to the company's other cinemas in Tier 1 cities. In 2016, 8 new ventures with a total of 52 screens opened. In 2017, there were 65 new screen additions. On August 9, the company established PVR Lanka Limited in order to build multiplexes in Sri Lanka. The mergers of Bijli Holding Private Limited, PVR Leisure Limited, and Let Us Entertain You Limited with the company were approved by the Delhi High Court on April 1, 2015. PVR and HP opened Asia's first VR lounge at PVR E6 Noida in financial year 17. PVR Blue O Entertainment Limited, a subsidiary of the firm, was sold for Rs 86 crores in 2018 to enable PVR to focus on its core business. In 2018, it acquired SPI Cinemas, a multiplex chain with operations in Chennai, Coimbatore, Puducherry, and Thiruvananthapuram. This expanded the reach of PVR in southern states. On January 30, 2020, the business dissolved PVR Middle East FZ LLC. On March 27, 2022, PVR Limited accepted the scheme of amalgamation of Inox Leisure Limited. Inox's shareholders will receive 3 PVR shares in exchange for 10 Inox shares. PVR Limited is India's biggest multiplex operator with 854 screens spread over 173 buildings. PVR provides a diverse movie watching experience via various formats which include PVR Director's Cut, PVR Lux, PVR IMAX, PVR PXL, PVR Playhouse, PVR 4DX, PVR Onyx, PVR Cinemas, and after their purchase and merger of SPI Cinemas, Escape, to appeal to distinct client categories in India, the company shows a range of material. PVR earns money from non-box office sources such as food and beverage sales, advertising revenue, convenience fees, and profits from movie distribution and production in addition to box office earnings. Film exhibition business had a rough year in fiscal 2020-21 due to the interruptions caused by COVID-19 pandemic. Financial year 22 began with the commencement of the second wave but finished on a high note with a robust rebound in admissions in March 2022. The rapid rebound exhibited in quarter 3 and quarter 4 of fiscal year 2022 underlines the company's business agility and ability to bounce back whenever fresh material is made available for distribution. Despite a challenging macroeconomic environment over the last 2 years, PVR managed the difficulties successfully, benefiting from aggressive cost reduction, liquidity, and cash flow management. There are many competitors of PVR today, such as Cineline India Limited, GV Films Limited, Mukta Arts Limited, Panorama Studios International Limited, Prime Focus Limited, and UFO Movies India Limited. Post merger with Inox, the combined entity will control nearly 45% of the multiplex screens in India. While the main business of PVR is running cinemas, the revenue of the chain from the sale of movie tickets is only about 50% of the total revenue. From the revenue distribution of operating income in the first half of the current year, we notice that food and beverage sales are an important part of PVR's total income. In fact, the sale of movie tickets is barely 50% of the total revenue. While PVR does not consider this as a separate segment and does not give segment-wise revenues, it appears that the food and beverage business may be a higher margin business with food cost at around 27% of the sales. The financial year 2022, like 2021, was a challenging year for the company as COVID 19 continued to adversely impact the operations of the company. Due to the burgeoning caseload across the entire country, localized lockdowns and curfews were mandated by various state governments. Majority of the screens were shut down in a staggered manner in April 2021, and by the first week of May in 2021, the entire cinema circuit was shut. From November 2021 onwards, the business started to pick up momentum with the release of the first Bollywood blockbuster Suryavanshi. Regular flow of content during November and December ensured that the business delivered operational profit after 6 quarters of loss. The quick growth of COVID 19's third wave surprised everyone, and all states again restricted the theatre capacity. After these limits were repealed in March 2022 and films performed well, the company recovered quickly. The epidemic has caused severe economic and social strain in India and beyond. During this time, the firm prioritized employee, consumer, and community health and efficiency. The pandemic has hurt the company in short term, but its long term drivers are intact, and the company does not see any significant medium to long term threats. To mitigate the adverse impact of COVID 19 on the business, the company continued with its strategy to manage costs, cash flows, and maintain adequate liquidity and ensure health and well being of all its employees, build customer trust and confidence as they reopened cinemas with revised safety protocols. In response to the COVID 19 crisis, PVR collaborated with UFO Movies to announce the installation of UFO Wolf Air Mask, a cinema specific air sterilization equipment which protects against all types of hazardous pathogens in the air and on the surface. This new technology is part of PVR's expanded safety effort, PVR Cares, which guarantees that theaters are safe for both guests and workers at every contact point in their movie trip. To maintain a safe and hygienic environment for their customers and staff, they developed thorough protocols and rules. To enable contactless booking, tickets are accessible on their website and smartphone app, as well as partner websites and mobile apps. Customers may also purchase tickets at the gate by scanning quick response codes. Further, they have discontinued the use of paper tickets and now only give booking confirmation by SMS and email. They have also incorporated a quick response code based food ordering system, as well as certain healthy options and selections with immune boosting elements. They have also developed a notion of private screenings, which is a premium and personalized service in which a small number of audience members hire the whole auditorium to enjoy their preferred material. While the company made a profit in quarter one of this year, the company suffered a much larger loss than expected during quarter two, due to this being one of the bleakest quarters for Hollywood globally and the box office failure of many new movies due to protests against various film stars and Bollywood in general. Apart from this, the other significant trend which may be affecting movie ticket sales could be the rise of OTT platforms. The OTT platform saw a decent rise in the last 2 years owing to the pandemic. The exhibition sector was severely harmed by several months of shutdown, staggered opening of cinema halls with varying capacity caps, delays in obtaining approval for 100% occupancy in key states, and a lack of new releases. As a result, some films from low to mid budget had chosen direct to OTT distribution since it allows filmmakers to monetize their inventory at an acceptable return on investment. Though some large blockbuster films like Suryavanshi, 83, etc., waited for over 18 months for an opportunity to release on the big screen. Digital rights became the largest sector of theatrical segment in 2020. A direct to OTT release may suit small to mid budget films, but it may be a concern for big budget films with big stars given the irreplaceable theatrical viewing experience, lower subscription rates, lower ROI compared to a theatrical release, limited recreation options in India, and big actors' lack of interest in direct to OTT release due to the small screen negatively impacting their brand value. Domestic cinemas account for 50 to 55% of total revenue for filmmakers, while overseas cinema rights account for 17 to 19%, with digital rights and OTT rights, satellite and music rights accounting for 10 to 12% and 10 to 17% respectively. Hence, it is believed that both OTT and theatre will coexist, and the rise of OTT will not be a threat to mainstream theatre. Apart from this, the other major trend has been the blockbuster success of regional cinema, particularly from the south, and the diminishing importance of Bollywood. However, it is too early to say if this is a permanent shift, as this has only been the case for 1 or 2 quarters. In the case of PVR in quarter 2 financial year 23, regional cinema contributed to 44% of gross box office collections as against only 38% from Hindi films. The balance 18% came from English films. While PVR has become by far the most important national cinema chain, it is yet to be seen if OTT will create any further long term impact on moviegoing. With this cautious note, PVR is perhaps the best position to reap the benefits of any bounce back in the cinema industry.